Let's be brutally honest for a second. Everything you think you know about protein is probably wrong. You've been told to drink your whey shake after a workout, to grill that chicken breast, and to maybe snack on some Greek yogurt. And you've been led to believe that's the peak of nutritional excellence. But what if I told you that some of the most heavily marketed, widely consumed protein sources on the planet are secretly sabotaging your health, accelerating inflammation, and might even be shortening your lifespan? And conversely, what if the absolute best, most scientifically validated sources of protein are the ones you're being told to avoid or are simply overlooking entirely? This isn't gym bro science or influencer opinion. This is a deep, evidence-based dive into the molecular level of what happens inside your body when you consume different proteins. Today, we are ranking the best and worst protein sources solely by the cold, hard, unbiased verdict of published scientific research. We will shatter myths, expose the dirty little secrets of the food and supplement industry, and by the end of this video, you will have a crystal clear, actionable blueprint for exactly what to put on your plate to build muscle, optimize your health, and feel incredible. All based on metrics that go far beyond just grams per serving. We are judging every single source on a rigorous set of criteria. First, its biological value, which is a measure of how efficiently your body can actually use that protein for growth and repair. Second, we're looking at the amino acid profile, specifically the content of the 9 essential amino acids that your body cannot make on its own, with a special focus on leucine, the primary trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Third, and this is absolutely critical, we are evaluating the metabolic cost of that protein. What else comes packaged with it? Is it bundled with harmful saturated fats, inflammatory compounds, heavy metals, and digestive irritants? Or is it accompanied by beneficial fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals? This holistic view is what separates the marketing hype from the biological reality, and it's going to lead us to some truly shocking conclusions. So, forget everything you've been told, and let's start this countdown with the absolute worst offenders, the protein sources that science has firmly placed in the doghouse. We begin our list in the dreaded number 5 spot, and it's one that might surprise you. Processed red meats. I'm talking about your sausages, your salami, your bacon, your hot dogs, and even many packaged burger patties. Now, from a pure protein content perspective, these are indeed high in protein. A few slices of bacon or a couple of sausages might get you 15 to 20 grams. But the metabolic cost is astronomically high. The World Health Organization has classified processed meats as a group 1 carcinogen, meaning the evidence is as strong as it is for tobacco and asbestos that it causes cancer, specifically colorectal cancer. How? The primary mechanisms are the nitrates and nitrites used as preservatives, which can form nitrosamines in your gut, which are potent carcinogens. Furthermore, the high-temperature cooking methods often used for these meats can create other cancer-promoting compounds like heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Add to that the sky-high levels of saturated fat and sodium, which are linked to heart disease and hypertension, and you have a so-called protein source that is actively working against your long-term health. The science is unequivocal. Regular consumption of processed meats significantly increases your risk of premature death from all causes. It's a protein source that builds a tumor as efficiently as it builds a bicep. Moving up, or rather down the list to the number 4 worst protein source, we encounter another staple of the Western diet, fried foods, with a specific focus on fried chicken and breaded fish fillets. The protein here, the chicken or the fish itself, can be a decent quality source, but the method of preparation completely and utterly ruins it. Deep frying in industrial seed oils like soybean, corn, or canola oil, which are high in unstable polyunsaturated fats, creates a perfect storm of health destruction. The high heat oxidizes these oils, creating advanced glycation end products and lipid peroxides that are profoundly inflammatory, damaging your arteries, your brain, and your cells. The breading, typically made from refined wheat flour, soaks up this damaged fat like a sponge, delivering a double whammy of blood sugar, spiking carbs, and inflammatory fats. Studies consistently link frequent consumption of fried foods to increased rates of obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even cognitive decline. You are essentially coating a potentially good protein in a layer of metabolic poison. Your body doesn't just struggle to use that protein effectively, it has to mount a massive inflammatory response to deal with the toxic byproducts of the frying process. It's a net negative for your physiology, making it one of the worst ways you can possibly meet your protein needs. Now we're getting into the truly controversial territory, the protein sources that have been masquerading as health foods for decades, but are, in fact, some of the most damaging choices you can make. Landing at number 3 on our list of the worst protein sources is a category that will make the supplement industry very angry: cheap, low-quality whey protein concentrates and protein blends. Not all whey is created equal. High-quality whey protein isolate, which we will discuss later, can be a good option. But the vast majority of cheap protein powders lining the shelves are made from whey concentrate or are mysterious protein blends that are often spiked with inferior, poorly digested amino acids like glycine and taurine to artificially inflate the protein content on the label. The problem with low-quality whey concentrate is twofold. First, it's often very high in lactose and milk fats, which can cause significant digestive distress, bloating, and gas for a huge portion of the population, even those who don't consider themselves lactose intolerant. This is because the processing doesn't remove these components effectively. Second, and more insidiously, many of these cheap proteins are contaminated with heavy metals like arsenic, cadmium, lead, and mercury. Independent lab tests, including those by the Clean Label Project, have repeatedly found alarming levels of these neurotoxins in popular protein powder brands. You are drinking a shake, believing it's the cornerstone of your health, and you might be slowly poisoning your nervous system. Furthermore, these low-quality proteins are often produced using harsh chemical solvents and acids, which can leave trace residues in the final product. When you choose a protein powder, you are not just choosing protein, you are choosing everything that comes with its processing method. A cheap, contaminated whey concentrate provides a subpar amino acid profile, triggers digestive issues, and introduces bioaccumulative toxins into your body, making it a disastrous choice for a daily protein source. Now, prepare for the biggest shock of this entire video: the number 2 worst protein source according to science: farmed salmon. Yes, you read that correctly. Wild-caught salmon, which we will praise later, is a superstar. But the vast majority of salmon sold in supermarkets and restaurants is the farmed variety, and it is a nutritional nightmare. Farmed salmon are raised in overcrowded, disease-ridden pens, fed an unnatural diet of grain-based pellets, often containing soy and corn, and are treated with antibiotics and pesticides to survive the conditions. This fundamentally alters their fat composition. While wild salmon gets its vibrant pink color from eating astaxanthin-rich crustaceans and has a perfect balance of omega-3 to omega-6 fats, farmed salmon has a pale gray flesh that is often dyed, and its fat profile is heavily skewed towards inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids due to its grain-based diet. Studies have shown that the inflammatory marker ratio in farmed salmon is profoundly worse than in its wild counterpart. But it gets worse. Because of the polluted waters they are often farmed in and the contaminants in their feed, farmed salmon consistently test positive for high levels of PCBs, polychlorinated biphenyls, dioxins, and other persistent organic pollutants. These are known carcinogens and endocrine disruptors that can interfere with your hormone function. You are eating a fish that is supposed to be anti-inflammatory, but the farmed version is actually a significant source of pro-inflammatory fats and toxic chemicals. It is quite possibly one of the greatest deceptions in the modern food supply, masquerading as a health food while delivering a cocktail of toxins. The protein itself is good, but the payload it comes with is utterly unacceptable for human health. And now we arrive at the absolute worst, the number one most damaging protein source you can possibly consume. And it's not even a close contest. The winner, or rather the loser, of this infamous title is the protein isolate derived from genetically modified soy. This is the primary protein found in countless plant-based meat alternatives, protein bars, and shakes marketed to the health-conscious consumer. The issues with this protein are so profound and multi-layered that it's difficult to know where to begin. First, let's talk about the raw material. Over 90% of the soy grown in the world is genetically modified to be resistant to the herbicide glyphosate. This means the fields are doused with this chemical and the soybeans absorb it. Independent testing consistently finds significant residues of glyphosate in the final soy protein products. The World Health Organization classifies glyphosate as a probable human carcinogen, and it is also a known endocrine disruptor and a potent antibiotic that can devastate your gut microbiome. So, you're starting with a bean saturated with a toxic chemical. Then, the process to turn this bean into a protein isolate is incredibly harsh. It involves using hexane, a neurotoxic petroleum solvent, to separate the protein from the fat and fiber. While manufacturers claim most of the hexane is removed, trace residues consistently remain in the final product. You are consuming a protein that was processed with a chemical that is a known air pollutant and neurotoxin. But the problems don't stop there. Soy, in and of itself, contains high levels of phytoestrogens, specifically isoflavones like genistein and didzine. While sometimes marketed as beneficial, these compounds can mimic estrogen in the human body, binding to estrogen receptors and potentially disrupting delicate hormonal balance. For men, this can lead to lower testosterone, gynecomastia, development of breast tissue, and reduced libido. For women, especially those with estrogen-sensitive conditions, it can exacerbate problems. Furthermore, soy contains potent anti-nutrients like phytates, which block the absorption of crucial minerals like zinc, magnesium, iron, and calcium, and trypsin inhibitors, which interfere with the digestion of the protein itself. So, not only are you getting a protein that is inferior in its amino acid profile, soy is low in the essential amino acid methionine, but your body may not even be able to properly digest and absorb it, all while you're ingesting glyphosate, hexane residues, and hormone-disrupting compounds. From every single scientific angle, toxicology, endocrinology, and nutrition, soy protein isolate is a catastrophic choice. It is the antithesis of a clean, health-promoting protein and earns its place as the number one worst protein source ranked by science. Now, take a deep breath. Because we are pivoting 180 degrees, we've just navigated the minefield of the worst proteins. From here on out, it's all about the solutions, the elite performers, the protein sources that will truly elevate your health and performance. Welcome to the Hall of Fame, the elite tier of protein sources that science not only approves of, but enthusiastically recommends. These are the foods that will fuel your body efficiently, support muscle growth, enhance satiety, and contribute to long-term vitality without any of the nasty side effects we just discussed. Kicking off our top 5 list at the prestigious number 5 spot is a food that has been unfairly demonified for years, but is now being rightfully vindicated by modern research: whole eggs. Not just the whites, the entire egg. For decades, people avoided the yolk due to cholesterol fears, but we now know that dietary cholesterol has a minimal impact on blood cholesterol for most people. And the yolk is, in fact, the most nutrient-dense part. A single whole egg provides about 6 to 7 grams of incredibly high-quality, complete protein with a perfect amino acid profile and a biological value of 100, which is the gold standard. But the magic is in the yolk. It's packed with choline, a crucial nutrient for brain health and liver function, lutein and zeaxanthin for eye health, and a full spectrum of fat-soluble vitamins. The combination of protein and healthy fats in a whole egg promotes immense satiety, helping you control your calorie intake naturally. Study after study shows that including whole eggs in your diet does not increase heart disease risk and can actually improve your cholesterol profile by increasing your good HDL cholesterol. They are a nutritional powerhouse, a perfect package of protein and cofactors that your body knows exactly how to use. Moving up to number 4, we have a plant-based powerhouse that stands head and shoulders above all other plant proteins: lentils. For those following a plant-based diet or simply looking to diversify their protein sources, lentils are a gift from nature. A single cooked cup provides about 18 grams of protein and a staggering 16 grams of fiber. This fiber is not only fantastic for your gut microbiome, feeding your beneficial bacteria, but it also regulates the absorption of the carbohydrates in the lentils, preventing any blood sugar spike. Unlike soy protein isolate, the protein in whole lentils comes with no toxic baggage. They are rich in iron, folate, manganese, and potassium. While lentils are not a complete protein on their own, meaning they are a bit low in the essential amino acids methionine and cysteine, this is easily remedied by eating them with grains like rice or whole wheat bread throughout the day, forming a complete protein profile. They are cheap, versatile, incredibly sustainable to grow, and provide a slow digesting, steady release of amino acids and energy that keeps you full and fueled for hours. They are the ultimate proof that a plant-based protein can be both powerful and profoundly healthy. Now, let's talk about the king of dairy proteins, taking the number 3 spot on our best list: whey protein isolate. Notice I said isolate, not concentrate. A high-quality, third-party tested whey protein isolate from grass-fed cows is a different universe from the cheap concentrates we discussed earlier. The isolation process removes almost all the lactose, fat, and cholesterol, leaving you with a product that is over 90% protein by weight. This makes it incredibly easy to digest for most people. Why is it so good? Its amino acid profile is exceptional, and it is particularly rich in branched-chain amino acids, BCAAs, especially leucine. Leucine is the primary molecular signal that kicks muscle protein synthesis into high gear. This makes whey isolate the most effective protein for stimulating muscle growth and repair, especially when consumed around your workouts. It is absorbed very rapidly, flooding your muscles with the building blocks they need precisely when they need them most. Furthermore, whey protein is a rich source of cysteine, which your body uses to produce the master antioxidant glutathione. Studies show that high-quality whey protein can boost immune function, enhance recovery, and support fat loss as part of a calorie-controlled diet. When sourced and processed correctly, it is a clean, powerful, and highly effective tool in your nutritional arsenal. We are now in the top 2, the absolute pinnacle of protein sources according to scientific literature. Securing the number 2 position is a food so perfectly designed for human consumption that it seems almost miraculous: wild-caught salmon. As we brutally exposed its farmed counterpart, wild-caught salmon is the polar opposite. It is a true superfood. A serving provides around 22 grams of high-quality, complete protein, but its real power lies in what comes with it: the long-chain omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. These are not the plant-based ALA omega-3 seconds from flax seeds that your body has to inefficiently convert. These are the active, ready-to-use forms. EPA and DHA are fundamental for reducing systemic inflammation, which is the root cause of most modern chronic diseases. They are critical for optimal brain function, supporting memory and mood, and they are essential for heart health, reducing triglycerides and improving arterial function. The combination of a perfect protein with these potent anti-inflammatory fats is unmatched. You are not just building muscle, you are simultaneously cooling inflammation throughout your entire body, protecting your heart and your brain. Wild-caught salmon is also an excellent source of astaxanthin, one of the most powerful antioxidants found in nature, which gives it its vibrant color and provides additional protection against oxidative stress. It is, without a doubt, a protein source that does more than just provide amino acids. It actively and comprehensively upgrades your entire system. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the number one best protein source ranked by science. This is the protein that boasts the highest biological value, the most complete and balanced amino acid profile, the greatest satiety effect, and the cleanest, most health promoting metabolic cost. The gold medal goes to lean grass fed beef, not the conventional grain finished beef from crowded feedlots, but specifically beef from cattle that have been raised on their natural diet of grass throughout their lives. The difference is night and day. Grass fed beef has a vastly superior fat profile. It contains significantly more omega 3 fatty acids and a much healthier ratio of omega 6 to omega 3 fats, closer to the ideal ratio for human health. It is also one of the richest natural sources of conjugated linoleic acid, a type of fat that has been shown in studies to have potent anti-cancer properties and to aid in fat loss. From a protein perspective, it provides about 22 to 25 grams of complete protein per 3-ounce serving, with an amino acid profile that is second to none. It is incredibly rich in heme, iron, the most bioavailable form of iron, which is crucial for preventing anemia and maintaining energy levels. It's also packed with zinc, which is essential for immune function and testosterone production, and vitamin B12, which is critical for your nervous system. When you choose a lean cut from a grass-fed animal, you are getting a powerhouse of nutrition with minimal saturated fat and no hidden contaminants or inflammatory compounds. Your body recognizes it, utilizes it with incredible efficiency for building and repairing tissue, and benefits from the symphony of accompanying nutrients. It is the most ancestrally consistent, biologically appropriate, and scientifically validated protein source for human beings. It builds strong, functional muscle, supports a robust metabolism, and fuels a resilient body from the inside out. So, there you have it. The definitive ranking from the absolute worst soy protein isolate to the unparalleled best grass-fed beef. This entire breakdown, from the terrifying toxins in farm salmon to the life-changing benefits of grass-fed beef, is based on one simple principle. You deserve to know the truth about what you're putting into your body. This isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. You now hold the knowledge to make radically better choices that will impact your energy, your physique, and your long-term health for decades to come. But knowledge without action is worthless. So, here is your call to action. Right now, I want you to go down into the comments and tell me one thing you learned from this video that completely shocked you. Was it the truth about soy protein? The difference between farmed and wild salmon? Let's start a conversation down there. Then, I want you to take this one step further. Go to your kitchen right now and do an audit. Look at your protein powders, check the labels on the meats in your freezer, and identify one single worst protein source from this list that you are currently consuming, and commit to removing it this week. And then replace it with one of the best sources. Swap that cheap whey for a high quality isolate or some lentils. Trade that farm salmon for a wild caught filet. This single, simple action will be a massive win for your health. And if you found this deep dive valuable, if you appreciate getting the unvarnished science-backed truth without the industry bias, then do me a huge favor. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell because we are just getting started. We're going to tear apart other nutritional myths, expose more marketing lies, and give you the tools you need to take complete control of your health. The journey to a stronger, healthier you starts with a single, informed choice. Make that choice today. Thank you for watching.